Evo jedno večer posvećeno zaboravljenoj istoriji Srbije i Amerike ovdje ambasade Republike Srbije u Washingtonu, where the evening called Forgotten History. John Cappello, president of Halyard Mission Foundation. John, can you tell us what's the idea about the evening tonight?
So, as you know, the Halyard Mission Foundation, our main goal is to educate and commemorate about the rescue of over 500 American airmen, which was Operation Halyard. As we've worked hard to tell that story, we've also learned so much more about our shared history, the history between the United States and Serbia. And so Forgotten History is in essence a second chapter that tells many other stories that connect the United States and Serbia.
So can we say that Halyard Mission has now woken up and brought up some other ideas? This was a great story, and actually there's many more people and events that took place in the history between the United States and Serbia.
Well, of course. The United States and Serbia share a strong and a long history based on shared interests and shared values, over 140 years of relationship, right? So it's a long history. From World War I, when volunteers came back from North America, from the United States, to fight for Serbia during the First World War, many of those stayed behind and found volunteers villages in Banat, Vojvodina. There's so many other stories that are really important that connect us as people. But it's not just about the history, right? It is history, and it's important to remember history, but it's my contention that these stories show the true nature of our relationship and are a strong foundation for us to build strong relations today and into the future.
And also we can say it's not just Serbs who are here tonight, but they're Americans, and not just Americans, but people who are from the Pentagon, I believe, from the Canadian military too.
Exactly, and that's why it was so important to do this, and I really thank Ambassador Juric and the Serbian Embassy here in D.C. It's so important for us to do this in the United States as well, to tell these stories, and so doing it in D.C. at the Serbian Embassy to a diverse crowd of individuals is perfect. But we're trying to do this around the United States, and we're working hard to share the Halyard Mission story and these other forgotten history stories.
And daughter, one of the most famous survivors, so to speak, of the people who participated in the mission is here tonight.
So Ksenia Wilkinson, that's right, her father, George Voinovich, was one of the OSS, Office of Strategic Services, officers that helped plan the Halyard Mission. And so without him, we wouldn't have had a successful mission. And she's super, very supportive, and we're very lucky to have a good relationship with her.
And also tonight there was a video showing the people watching throughout the evening.
Right, we put together it's a 2-minute video that just gives an idea of some of the stories and the connections between our two people, between our two countries.
What are some of the other things that are going on? The story has entered some of the U.S. museums now permanently.
So that's right. While I've been in the United States the last month or so, we've connected with a number of other museums. Actually, just 2 weekends ago, I was in Reading, Pennsylvania for the World War II weekend. And during that weekend, people from all across the United States came to fly in old war airplanes to reenact just a really interesting exhibit of World War II. And we had the opportunity while there to connect with 4 different museums, one in Delaware, another in Pennsylvania, another in Ohio. So this, we now have a relationship with 14 museums in the United States that will share the story of Operation Halyard, the rescue mission, and the important role Serbs played. And so it's really, I think it shows how much interest there is in this, and we're trying to grow our foundation to tell this story.
Do you feel like Serbs also should spread the story in Serbia and here in America, and they can be proud to know that the countries, for example, young Serbs growing up here, to know that the country where they're growing up actually a very strong relation with Serbia, maybe they didn't even know as much.
Sure, I think it's important to tell, I think it's important to tell the story both in the United States and in Serbia. And then, of course, there's different audiences, right? The Serbian diaspora here in the United States has always been super supportive. But it's really important, as you pointed out, to meet with other Americans that don't know much about Serbia, that don't know much about our relationship and our history. That's really important because it serves not just to commemorate and remember the past, but it serves us to have people understand so we make good decisions in the future.
How can somebody join and become part of the foundation, help out?
Well, we always are looking for support, and that support comes in different ways, of course, building our network, but it takes resources to do what we're doing. And of course, you could find us at www.halyardmission.org. And we'd love to see you join us in telling the story.
What's on this? The panels also show also some of the original photos from the time.
So that's right. So all of the posters, all of the exhibits that we build try to incorporate original photos from the period. But even more importantly, we try really hard, especially with Halyard, to tell the individual stories, the story of the airmen, the story of the Serbs that rescued them, and then make that connection. It's really, really important. We're always looking for the families in Serbia, and we're always looking for the families of the rescued airmen in the United States.